Hello, students. Welcome to the webinar presented by me, yours truly, Susanna Cerasuolo, guidance counselor in Seattle, Washington, founder of College Mapper, which I believe you see on the other side of your screen. And I am coming to you today from sunny Seattle, which is really wild because it's usually not very sunny here, but it is sunny today, so hey, cool. Anyway, today we're going to talk about things you need to know if you are a first generation college student like myself. And a first generation college student means not that you are the first person from your family to live in this country, but you are the first person from your family to go to university or to go to college. And I know what that's like because I was the first one to go. It's a little bit scary, but today we're going to go over some of the basics of some tips and tricks after my time in that trench, and I can share it with you and hopefully make it a little bit easier and a little bit smoother on you. It's really very exciting, so let's get started. Let's see here, I'm supposed to click next. So next, the two most important things for you to remember for your success in college, I think, and I actually read a study on this very recently, so I can back this up with some scientific facts, but you belong at college just like everyone else. So please remember that when you get there, or if you are there, because sometimes when you're a first gen kiddo, you can maybe feel like, oh, all these other kids really have this down. Everybody belongs here, not me. I don't understand, or I'm scared, or I don't feel good. I don't feel like I fit in. That's not true. Nobody else feels great when they first get there. Everybody feels nervous, and feeling nervous is normal. So it's okay for you to feel nervous. And the thing that I really want you to remember is that you belong on that college campus just like everyone else, okay? Nobody can tell that you're first gen. Nobody can tell that your parents didn't go, that you're figuring things out for yourself. Your friends will know if you tell them. Your roommate will know if you tell him or her. But people can't just tell when you're walking down campus, from class to class. So you're safe. And just try to blend in and remember that everybody else feels nervous and just trying to find their way and trying to find a place to belong on campus or some groups to fit into. So that's really normal, very normal. So be ready for that, okay? And you belong there. The second thing that I really want you to know is you are going to have some academic struggles. I don't care how well you did at your high school, you are going to have some academic struggles, and these are very, very normal. So when they happen to you, fight them. Get in there and fight the good fight, young camper. So figure out, hey, what support do I need? What resources do I need? Do I need to go to my professors for some office hours to get some extra help? Do I need to go to the math lab or the writing lab? Those are usually free on campus and staffed by graduate students in the know, so you can go there as much as you like. I lived in the math lab so much that I thought they were going to kick me out, but they never did. You can also go to your resident advisor on your floor and get some academic support that way, but academic struggles are going to happen because college is more difficult than high school, so be prepared for that. Just be ready for that. It's okay. Nothing's wrong with you. It does not mean that you don't belong at college or that you can't handle college or that you should have gone somewhere else or to a 2-year college or anything. Academic struggles are normal. They are going to happen to everyone. So just remain calm and fight. Now, it is insanity. The definition of insanity is to continue doing the same thing and expect different results. So you have to change something that you did before you got the bad grade on the test or the paper. So if you didn't study enough, or you didn't prepare enough, or you didn't work far enough in advance, or you didn't go get the extra help that you need, those things need to change, okay? And then you can get better results the next time. Let's move on. By the way, if you guys have any questions, there's a little box that you can type them into, and I will see them, and I will answer them. Teachers love questions. Moving on. Next. Number 1, I think you should be prepared to leave the nest. This is actually kind of psychologically ruffling, I mean, it's like a speed bump. So just start to prepare yourself for the fact that you are going to be leaving home, and it's going to be different. And for some of you, that'll be very exciting. And for some of you, that'll be a little bit discombobulating. But get everything together that you need for your dorm room, because you do need some stuff. And we have a really handy list On College Mapper, we have this great list of all the things that you should remember to take to school. And I think something I wish people had told me was buy your books early, because if you get there early, then you can get the cheaper ones because they're used and you save a lot of money, and that's awesome. So try to buy your books early. Save up your spending money, because you're going to want to have late night pizza, which no one really needs if you think about it. But anyway, everyone loves late night pizza in the dorms, and so you're going to save up some spending money. You don't need a lot at college, because you get eat the food in the cafeteria and you're staying there in the dorms, so you don't need a ton of money. But once in a while, you like to get a little pizza or maybe go to a concert with your friends. So do try to save up some money with your summer job. Those are some of the things that I wish people had told me before I was leaving. Let's continue. Step number 2, actually tip number 2. College, we talked a little bit about this. College is more difficult than high school. Be ready. So when you get there, I mean, it's not like going to blow you away, scary different, but it'll be different. So just be ready. And when you get there, talk to your RA on your floor, the resident advisor on your floor, and find out where the math lab is. Where's the writing lab? Again, these things are usually, they should be free. If they're not free, I want you to write to me and tell me, because that's just weird. They should be free. Figure out where they are on your campus and then go. Your professors have these things called office hours. It's really cool. It means the professor, he or she, is in the office at that time. Say it's Tuesday from 2 to 4, and you are allowed to show up. And you can wait in line if there's usually a short line of like 2 or 3 kids, but usually there's no one there and it's just you, and you go in and sit for 15, 20, or 30 minutes, sometimes an hour if you guys really get into a great chat, and they will help you. They will answer questions you have from lecture, questions you have about problem sets. It's awesome. It's one-on-one time with you and the professor. I strongly suggest that you go to office hours for every professor that you have. I strongly suggest that you go to at least 2 office hours. So if you have a professor for a semester, you're going to have that guy or gal for 15 weeks, okay? I went to a quarter system school, so you're going to have somebody for 10 weeks. Make sure you go see them 2 times at their office hours during the time that you have them as a teacher. At least 2. If you want to go once a week, hey man, go once a week. If you really hit it off with somebody, you might go more than that. Try not to be that kid, because no one likes that kid, and you don't want to be there every day. You don't want to be weird about it. Like, you don't want the professor to start dreading seeing you coming, but go when you need help. Also, a lot of professors have a teaching assistant, a TA. So if a professor has a TA, the TA will also have office hours. So that's 2 people that you can go and get help from. You can also stay after class and ask a quick question that way, provided there's not a big line of people. Again, don't be an air hog. You can stay after class and talk to the TA. So get the help you need, because college is more difficult than high school. You are going to have to spend more time studying, but that's okay. Remember, back to the first slide, you can do it. You belong there, and you're going to succeed. Succeeding is all about motivation, and you're just going to decide that you're going to succeed, and then you're going to do it. You're not going to let anything stand in your way, okay? Because you belong there. And that's what you have to remember when you're the first person from your family to go, because going to college isn't normal for your family, so people might not be expecting you to finish. I remember one time in my, I don't know, probably my 2nd year of college, I went to a family reunion. It was a barbecue, and one of my cousins is there, and we're from Appalachia, so we have some pretty thick accents. They're kind of fun. And my cousin, bless him, came up to me and he said, I won't do his accent because I wouldn't want anyone to think I was making fun of where I'm from, but he came up to me at the barbecue and he said, "Are you still going to that college?" And I said, I tried to look cool, because I didn't want to look like I thought I was better. And that's another awkward thing I'm happy to talk to you about, because you do deal with some of that in your heart. Anyway, so I just tried to look cool, I was like, "Oh yeah, I like it. I think I'll go back." Mind you, I had never thought about not going, because I thought college was awesome. It was like Candyland. College was just awesome. Everybody was reading and talking about intellectual stuff, and I didn't come from a background like that, so it was really cool to be around other people who wanted to read and who wanted to think and who wanted to talk. So my cousin comes up to me at the barbecue and he's like, are you going to go back to that college? And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I think I like it. I think I'll go back. And that's just the background that I was coming from. And you might understand that. Like, people do not expect you to keep going always. And they don't, because they don't know what you're doing and they don't understand what you're doing. And they know that it costs a lot of money, but they don't know why. So I want to encourage you to set it in your mind like I did. I was lucky enough. Set it in your mind. I'm going to finish. Quitting for me is not an option. I love school. I'm good at this. I belong on this campus. I'm in blank, blank, and blank clubs or groups or activities or sports. And this is my college, and I'm here for 4 or 5 years, right? Hopefully 4. Anyway, just set that as a goal for yourself. It is more difficult, but you can do it, and you'll be fine. And that's it, okay? So, moving right along. Tip number 3, let's learn some basic college vocab, because if you haven't grown up with this stuff happening around your dinner table, you might not know that a BA is a bachelor's degree. That's 4 years, and that's what you do for undergraduate school, also called undergrad. So during undergrad, you are getting your BA, you're getting your bachelor's degree. That usually takes 4 years, and you are what's known as an undergraduate, okay? If you want to keep going because you just love school, like yours truly, I've been 3 times now, nay, 4, you can get a master's degree, which is an MA, which is a specialized degree. And it'll take 1 to 3 years depending on the program. This is called graduate school, and when you're in graduate school, you are what's known as a grad student, okay? So there's undergrads, that's college kids. When you think of college kids, you think of undergrads. And then there's grad students. Grad students oftentimes teach undergrads. They're TAs, they're teaching assistants. So when you're a graduate student, you might be called on to do some undergrad teaching, which is really pretty cool. I did my undergrad, I did my BA in English at The Ohio State University. Go Bucks. And then I stuck around there for an extra year because I just love school. And that part is true. And I got a master's degree in education. It was an accelerated program. It took a year. I'm not exactly sure that I recommend taking that many credit hours per term, but I did it and I survived. And then I just really liked school, so I wanted to keep going, and I got this puppy here for funsies. This is a degree in classics, Greek pottery, because that's practical. That's really practical. But I loved it. And then I'm right now actually working on another master's degree because I need one. It's a master's degree in literature. And that's really fun. So if you want to talk about going to school for a long time, being a career student, I'm happy to talk to you about that because I've got a little problem with school. I just love it. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. All right. So, sorry. We forgot. RA. So when you're in the dorm, you're going to have on your dorm floor, this floor is the universal hand gesture for floor. Anyway, you're going to have an RA on your dorm floor, and this person's your resident advisor, and they are in charge of your floor. They do all kinds of programming. They are responsible for knowing your name and helping you get over any roommate squabbles. They're your go-to person for everything. This person is being paid to help every single kiddo on that floor make a good transition to college. It's a job that they are very happy to have because they get to live in the dorms and eat there for free. So any question you have, you go to your RA and just be really sweet and polite, but that's their job and they're happy to have that job. So you go and ask any question you have. This person's like your dorm mom or your dorm dad. They are your person. Okay, let's continue. Tip number 4, you're also going to have an academic advisor, kind of like your counselor in high school when you went to the counseling office, or when you go, if you're still in high school right now. And your advisor at college helps you plan out what classes you're going to take during college. And so you say, this is what I want to major in, and this is how long I want to be at college, 4 years only, or I can do 4.5, or I'm happy doing 5, whatever amount of time you want to graduate in. And your advisor will help you pick the classes that will make sure that you can graduate on time and have your degree. And you can go and meet with your advisor, certainly once a year, but 2-3 times a year, and just check in and go over your grades. And, if you have any hiccups or get not an awesome grade, then your advisor can help you figure out how to deal with that. They can help you handle everything that's academic. Let's keep going. Tip number 5. I also think it's a good idea for you to figure out some ways that make money. So most campuses will have a work-study program where you can work for part of your tuition, which is really cool. You do have to apply for that though, so you can talk to your RA, you can talk to your advisor. You can also get a part-time job. There's always a lot of local businesses near campus. You're going to want, if you want to do that, you're going to want to do that sooner rather than later, because everybody gets to campus in the fall and they all try to find jobs. So if you could go in the summer, or even phone calls, emails in the summer, just to try to do some research, that would be handy, because that could help you get a job. Oftentimes you can work through work study. You can work in the libraries and stuff on campus, and so you're even really close to the dorms, which is nice. And this is probably my favorite, one of my favorite slides in the whole deck, is that you really need to get involved on campus, especially when you're a first-gen kid, because you need to plug in and feel like you belong there, and you need to be excited to be there. So join some clubs, at least 2, and the gym does not count as 1. Okay? The gym does not count as 1. So I think you should join at least 2 things. There's this activity fair that happens every fall on every college campus in America, where all the clubs and organizations put out a little booth on the quad, and you can walk around to all the booths. If it's raining, maybe they do it in the gymnasium, but you can walk around to all the booths and get information on all the clubs that are available on campus. It's fabulous. So I really want to encourage you to go to the activities fair or read the flyers that are posted all over campus, and please, please, please join at least 2 things. You don't need to join 10 because your homework needs to come first, but at least 2. 2, 3, or 4 things is fine, because you want to be going to club meetings when you get to campus. As a first-gen kid, it is critical that you feel like you belong and you feel like you fit in, and you've got places where you need to be, and people who are expecting you to show up, and your friends who know your name, and you're in charge of this for the blah 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 function or whatever, you know, or you get to go and experience taekwondo with other people who love taekwondo, or you get to do some Renaissance dancing with other people who love that. Whatever your interest is, there is a group for it on campus, because campuses have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of student organizations. So I really want to encourage you to join at least 2 things. That is far and away one of the best ways that you can succeed academically, is by being socially involved on your campus. Not too involved. Remember, no one's going to hire you for the 25 clubs you were in. They're going to hire you because you got good grades in your courses. So that needs to come first. But if you feel good on campus because you've got friends and you feel connected and important and plugged in, you're going to do better in your classes. You see how this works? It's all kind of magical and mysterious. Not really, okay? So if you just join stuff, trust me, you're going to feel a lot better. BT Talk, college is really fun. Okay, let's just talk straight. It's really fun. Fun times. Okay, let's move on. If you guys have any questions, there's a little chat box there. My name's Susanna. I'm coming to you today from sunny Seattle, which is kind of bizarre because it's usually rainy here. I've been a classroom, excuse me, a little frog in my throat, ribbit. Been a high school English and journalism teacher for 10 years and a college counselor for 10 years. So I've worked with teenagers about 20 years, which makes me certifiably a little bit nuts, and I absolutely love it. So, tip number 7. Work, then play. Oh yeah, you have to do it this way, kids, okay? You have to work, then play, because if you mix up the order, it all goes wrong. Okay, best example, my gosh, if my friends are listening, I'll be so embarrassed. Best example from college is my friend Sunil. Sunil would always say to us, I will meet you guys at such and such after I finish these 3 problems. I will, oh yeah, I'll be there. I'm coming right behind you guys. I have one more econ set to do. Oh yeah, I'll totally see you guys there tonight. I just need to finish this essay. Every single time. And he would be late to everything by 10 minutes or 30 minutes because he always got his homework done first. And I learned from him. I had no study skills when I went to college because I'm a first gen, and my high school wasn't super hard, and I did well in high school, so I showed up to college with no study skills whatsoever, which was really hard. So I learned from my friend Sunil because he had these incredible priorities. Work, then play. You do your work, you get your work finished, and then you feel good, and you go play. You always do things in that order. You take care of your business first, and then you reward yourself with relaxing, and everything's good. You're totally golden. So you deserve to relax after you've worked really hard. You mess up the order though, and it's a little bit dangerous, okay? So remember, work then play, because college is more difficult than high school. And when you're a first-gen kid, you need to do everything you can to help yourself succeed, because your family doesn't always understand what you're going through at college. So you've got to set yourself up for success, okay? Let's move on. This isn't tip number 8. This is the resources slide. Here are some resources if you need extra help. The library on campus is a great place if you need some extra help when you get to college, or if you're already at college. The librarians are phenomenal at helping kids find resources, plug into resources, understand assignments. They just love a question and a kid. If you just show up at the desk with a question, oh, they just love that. And if you get kind of a mean one, because some of them just seem like, ancient and cranky, just go to the next one. There's like 40 libraries on campus if it's a big school. There's 2 or 3 if it's a small school. Just go to another library and find a nice library. You're going to find a nice one somewhere. They love questions, though. They love kids. Remember we talked earlier, I saw some new people just joined in. We talked earlier about going to your professor or the teaching assistant's office hours. Office hours are free. Anybody can go. Most kids don't, so it's awesome if you do, because very often you're the only kid there. And you show up. The professor will pass out a syllabus on the first day of class. It's a syllabus, and it shows you literally every single meeting of the class that is going to happen and what you are going to talk about on each of those meetings at each of those classes. So you see what you need to read before that class happens, and you see when the midterm and the final are, and you see if there is 1 paper that you have to write or there are 3 papers you have to write. That's another thing to understand. In college, you have much fewer grades, okay? Much less in the way of grades. There's not this sort of daily homework and tons of projects and group work. Not so much. You're going to have much fewer grades. So let's see. You get that syllabus, and at the top of the syllabus, the professor is going to say, my office hours are on Tuesday and Thursday in Emerson Hall, room 210, from 2 to 4. Okay, so you go to Emerson Hall on Tuesday or Thursday, and you stand in a line. If there's a short line, there might be 1 or 2 kids ahead of you. And then when it's your turn and you get in there to the professor, you can ask your question, take some prepared questions. Don't just sit there and shoot the breeze, but take a few questions, things you didn't understand from lecture, things you didn't understand from reading, things you missed on the test or the quiz, reasons you got marked down on your essay, your thesis and outline before you write the essay. That's absolutely awesome to do for an English professor. So I really encourage you guys to go to these office hours, okay? Because not many kids do, and it's going to get you a lot of extra help, and it's totally free. You can totally go. Don't go too much. Remember, you don't want to be that kid, but do go in general, at least 2 times per professor per term. So if you have the guy for a semester or a quarter, go at least twice, because it looks good. You care about your grade. Also remember, on your dorm floor, you have a resident advisor, your RA, and that's your go-to person for everything. I mean, if you have a question about blankets or food or school books or anything, toilet paper, you can ask your RA. That is their job. They are your go-to person. They're like your dorm mom, your dorm dad, and they are happy to help you with all your questions. So they can help you find tutors. They can help you find resource labs on campus. If you have any learning disabilities, they can help you find the Office of Disability Services. When you're starting to prepare for an internship or an interview, they can point you to the Office of Career Services. And you can also ask your academic advisor and your RA if there are any special groups on campus for first-gen kids, okay? First gen, for those of you just joining in, first gen means you're the first person from your family to go to college or university. I was a first gen. It's a little bit scary and a whole lot of awesome. You can do it. You just have to tell yourself, I belong on this campus and I'm going to have academic struggles and I'm going to make it. That's okay. Everybody belongs and everybody has academic struggles and you're going to make it. You can ask your advisor, your academic advisor, if there are any first gen groups on campus. Your RA should know that too. And if there is one, I would join it. Absolutely, because you're going to make friends who are in your same boat. And that's awesome. Let's continue. So stay motivated. you're going to make some small steps toward accomplishing your goal of graduating from college, and just put effort toward this goal so you stay focused and motivated. Make sure that you make out a study schedule so that you know when you're going to be studying each week, because you're going to have giant chunks of free time during the middle of the day. You might only have 2 classes on a Wednesday, so you need to schedule the rest of that time and set some goals for yourself. This semester, I'm going to get 3 A's and 2 B's, whatever. Set your goals and set them kind of high, but not unrealistically high, because college is more difficult than high school. And I really think it's a great idea to find someone who inspires you. Might be someone famous, like a celebrity, or someone you know in your circle, or even an older student in one of the clubs that you're in on campus. But find somebody who inspires you and talk to them from time to time. Or if they're famous and a celebrity, you can't do that, just read about their life and read about their accomplishments and say, I'm going to be like her, I'm going to graduate from college too, and I'm going to become an engineer, or I'm going to be like him and become a surgeon, and I'm going to be the person who cures cancer. Set some goals, absolutely, because what you think about, you bring about. That's worth saying. Again, it's worth writing down. What you think about, you bring about. So set some goals for yourself. I am definitely going to graduate with my bachelor's degree in 4 years. I'm going to get a degree in literature and become an English teacher, or psychology. I want to become a child psychologist. Whatever your goal is, forest conservation, it doesn't matter. And your goal can change, guys. It's okay if your goal changes, as long as you always have a goal. We have a question that's just come in, kids. And by the way, don't you just love this picture of this little baby? You can do it. Anyway, Hannah, where are you writing in from? Hannah, where are you from? Hannah has just asked, who inspired you to go to college? Hannah, I am happy to answer that question. My name is Susanna. I was an English and journalism teacher for 10 years. I've been a guidance counselor for 10 years. I live in Seattle. I'm from Appalachia, the foothills of Appalachia in southern Ohio. And Hannah, I am happy to tell you that my mother inspired me to go to college, because she herself had wanted to go to college, but her family was very poor, and she was shuffled around a lot from home to home. And she, one time she put this coffee can on the kitchen table that said Joanne's College Fund. And I asked her about it. She told me this story when I was an adult. Parents save these things for when you're an adult. She told me when I was an adult, and I said, Mom, what happened to that coffee can? And she said, well, I don't know. They threw it away. So when people are that poor, they're really thinking about surviving and not reading. So my mom inspired me to go. From the time I was little, she said, you're going to go to college. You should go to college. And then one time we were at this yard sale, and I picked up this sweatshirt because I needed a sweatshirt. And I said, Mom, can I buy this? It's 75 cents. And she said, yeah. And I said, what does it say on it? And she said, oh, that's Harvard. And I think I was like 6 or 7. I said, what's Harvard? Or maybe I was 8. And she said, Harvard is a college. It's one of the best colleges in America, and you should go there. And so I set it as a goal. And I went there for grad school. I did not go there for undergrad. And when I went for grad school, I went to the night school, which is not super fun. But my mom, I would say Hannah, inspired me to go. And I think one of the things that's been the most difficult about being a first gen, about being the first person from your family to go to college, is that your life changes a lot in good way, in great ways. Like it's mind-blowing. I think education is the best way. I know it's the best way to break the poverty cycle. But I do want you to be prepared that if your family is, middle class or lower middle class or struggling, and then you go to college and you get a degree and you get a good job, which is what everybody wants for you, which is what everybody's hoping for you, and I hope that for you too. Just be ready for the fact that it's a little bit awkward. It's just awkward, if everybody's not educated and you are. You deal, and I've talked with other first gens about this, you deal with a little bit of weird feelings like they're your family and you love them and you respect them and you respect all their hard work. And you don't want anyone to think that you think you're better than them. Does that make sense? And so sometimes it can get a little awkward. But just, if that happens to you, like it's happened to lots of us, you hang in there and you stay positive and you stay cheerful and you respect all people and you love all people and you stay humble and you never forget where you came from, and just love all people, whatever their job is, and just stay humble. Now we've got a question here from Mimi. Mimi, I love your name, and she's in California. What are the best websites to find private universities with a quarter system? Well, Mimi, private universities with a quarter system. I like the quarter system myself. I was on the quarter system at Ohio State. I think, ours, College Mapper, will tell you that if you do a college search, it'll tell you what kind of system it's on, quarter or semester. I think most college search websites would do that. The College Board has a pretty robust college search engine that will certainly tell you that. And then I know ours does, College Mapper, the one that I built for the Boys and Girls Club, but everybody's welcome to use it. So yeah, and everybody, just so you understand the difference between the quarter system and the semester system, the quarter system is, there are 4 quarters in a year, duh, and 3 of them happen during the school year, and 1 of them is summer, and most kids don't go summer, but some kids do. I did once or twice. And the quarter system, they're like 10 weeks long, but the semester system, there are 2 of them, and the semesters are like, I think, 15 weeks long. I didn't go to school on a semester system, or when I did, it was grad school, and that's just so different. But I think it is a really good idea to check both of those out, because the quarter system happens much more quickly. You're only taking 3 classes, but you're taking them for 10 weeks. And on a semester system, you're taking 5 classes, but you have them for 15. And so, some people prefer one over the other, and you should think about that. Which one would I personally prefer in terms of a college setting? I also think that it's important for you guys to consider, got another question coming in here. I also think it's important for you guys to consider what setting feels good: urban, suburban, rural, small, medium, large. Where are you going to learn best? Where are you going to feel best? For anybody who's just joining in, remember the 2 important things that I want you to take away from this. If you're a first gen like me, first person from your family to go to college, not first generation to live in America, first gen college goer, you belong on campus, and college is harder than high school. You're going to have academic struggles, but you can do it. You belong, and you can do it. Remember, okay? Because for a kid whose parents went to college, they're going to grow up hearing that stuff, and they're going to just believe that they belong there. And then when things get tough, they're going to call home crying because they flunked a test, and their parents who went to college are going to say to them, hey man, that's okay. I remember when I flunked this chemistry test. It happens to all of us. Dust yourself off, Tiger. Get back up and get in there. But for you and me, we can call home, but they don't really know what to say. Bless them, and they want to say something helpful, and they're struggling, but they don't really understand. And so you need to tell yourself, it's okay to call home and say, oh my gosh, Mom, I flunked the test, but next time I'm going to do better. You need to tell yourself, I'm smart enough and I can make it here. Yes, it's hard, but I'm going to get more support, and I belong. I'm going to join some clubs, and I'm going to belong, and I'm going to feel good, because everybody feels a little funky at first. Okay, Clady is asking a question. Hi, I'm Clady, and I will be writing a college essay. Oh, no. Sorry. Will writing a college essay about being first generation student sound cliche to colleges? Clady, I don't think so, because all colleges like to help us. When you're first gen, everybody wants to help people have a better quality of life. And education is the most direct way to break the poverty cycle. So everybody is going to want to help you since you're first gen. And that's not to say that everybody who's uneducated lives in poverty or is struggling, but there is a greater percentage. My family was quite, we struggled. And so all the colleges are very interested in helping that. Helping to break the poverty cycle and helping people to have a better quality of life. So I don't think that that will be cliche, um, because I think that's your story. And if you feel like it's getting cliche, okay, then maybe use that. All the college applications are going to have two spots. They're going to have a spot where you can put your main essay and a spot where, is there anything else you'd like us to know? You could put the first gen essay there. You could write a really fun essay about the time you tripped going up the bleachers in a pair of high heels that you shouldn't have been wearing at the assembly or something like that. Um, so if you want to write an upbeat main essay or about the intellectual thoughts that potato salad gives you or something, I mean, you can write the intellectual essay as well. Or you're passionate about playing the tuba, the passion essay, everyone loves the passion essay. And then you can use the first gen essay as the additional info. I would say, Clady, that it depends on how the first gen essay turns out. Because if your first gen essay is like, it was hard for me to do my homework because I was caring for my 3 brothers and sisters, and my dad wasn't around, and my mom was often out of work. I mean, if you're telling your story, then that kind of needs to be in your college application, because then a college admissions person is going to look at your transcript and be like, whoa, this kid got a 3.3 with all this stuff on her plate, So it kind of depends on how the essay turns out. If you're just saying like, yeah, my family does really well, we live in a house with a swimming pool, we go on vacation every year to Hawaii, but I'm going to be the first person from my family to go to college, like just because you're first gen doesn't mean that you're really like struggling or walking into new territory or feeling uncomfortable about college. So there are those kind of kids too whose parents, they have a small business and they're doing really well and nobody went to college, and hey, good for them. That's the American dream, right? To do well, so providing for yourself. So it's going to depend, Clady, on what you say, if the essay is cliche or not. I think you're really going to have to just see how that goes. You can post questions to me in the College Mapper forum, and they go right to my cellular telephone. Yes, they do, and then I answer them. So you can just post me some questions. I'm happy to read those. And Mimi is back. Mimi wants to know, what is the difference between urban and suburban, etc.? I love the coast, so what atmosphere would I fit into? Okay, great question. Talking about which colleges would be great for you. So Mimi, urban means in a city. I think you said you were in California. Can you type into me and tell me where you are in California? And I will, like, what city? What are you near? So think of a big city that you're near. Are you near LA, Pasadena, San Francisco, Fresno, whatevs? Think of a big city. So urban is in the city. Like, that college is going to be surrounded by buildings and cars, and it might have its own separate, this is the universal symbol for separate, might have its own separate campus in the city. It might be integrated into the city, like, here's Taco Bell, here's a building of my college, here's Taco Time, here's a building of my college, here's the Bank of America, building of my college. I mean, it might be like really integrated. That's urban. Okay, so urban can be separate, surrounded by buildings and cars and taxis, or integrated. Okay, urban means city. And then suburban, like part urban. So we talk about people living in the suburbs because it's part urban. It's on the outskirts of urban, on the outskirts of the city. So suburban would be like, I don't know, I lived in San Diego. So suburban would be Poway. I can't remember. I lived there a long time ago. Wait, Mimi is writing to tell me where she lives. She lives close to Huntington Beach. I believe that's LA. I lived in San Diego. So suburban is on the outskirts of the city. And then rural is cows, countryside, fields, farms. So there's urban in a city, suburban on the outskirts of a city, and rural, which is in the country or in a very small town. Now, there are things to be said, guys, for all 3 of those, because you might need the energy of a city to really keep you awake and make you feel all excited about learning and stuff. I don't know. That might be distracting for somebody else. I went to a school that was urban. It was in a city with a separate campus, and I loved it. We never hardly ever went into the city because there's always so much cool stuff going on campus that you just don't leave. That's the experience of most people. Um, but you might like to be in a small town where there's nothing distracting you. You can just focus and you can get really involved with all your people. Um, Another thing to consider is the size of the school. You might, because now understand this, kids, especially when you're first gen, because your parents aren't going to be equipped to help you with this. The size of your college, to a large extent, determines the size of the classes that you will be learning in. So, like, I went to the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. Huge school. So we had some big classes. I ended up by some miracle, because I don't remember filling out the application, but I also didn't have a guidance counselor, so it's a miracle I got to college at all. By some miracle, I ended up in the honors program, so my classes were smaller. But if you're not in the honors program at a big public school like UCSD, San Diego State, UCLA, the University of Washington, which is right across the street here. I don't know where the rest of y'all are calling in from or writing in from. But if you're at a big school like that, your classes are usually big, like huge lectures, so there might be 200 of you guys in there, 500 of you guys in there, and you don't get to ask questions unless you stay after class. Now, they'll usually have that lecture 3 days a week, the big 200 or 500 kids lecture. I actually didn't mind those. I thought it was kind of cool. Sit up front, by the way. But then they'll usually have those 3 days a week, and then on the fourth day, you go to a little small group, and they call it recitation, and you have a teaching assistant who runs that, and there's like 20 of you guys in there, and you can ask lots of questions, but that's 1 day a week. And then if you wanted to ask more questions than that, you need to go to office hours. But that's a big school. If you go to a small school, your classes are going to be smaller, So, okay, it seems like everybody's writing in from California. So if you're going to like Chapman, University of San Diego, University of San Francisco, St. Mary's, your classes are going to be smaller because there's only 2,000 kids at some of these colleges, or Whittier in Los Angeles has 1,000 kids. So if you go to a school like that, you're going to be in a lot of classes with just 15 or 20 kids. You're going to get to ask questions every single time. There'll be a lot of discussions. And that's not to say that every school at San Diego State every class at San Diego State is huge. That's not true, because when you get into your junior and senior years, you'll be taking a lot of classes in your major, and then you can have small class sizes then. But it is to say that during freshman and sophomore year, you're probably going to have quite a few of the larger classes. Okay, Mimi is saying, I would like a university where for my free time I can walk to the beach or hang around the coast. Is there any category for beach living? Well, I think the easiest thing to do, we have on Google, on our college search, it's synced up to Google Maps. So if you pick the states that you're interested in and then look on the map, you'll be able to see. And maybe if you've grown up near the ocean, then that is a real priority for you. That could be a real priority. I do just want to throw it out there that most kids don't leave campus because campus is so fun and so exciting. I understand, though, if you've grown up near salt water and it's in your veins, then maybe that is something important, and you should think about going to school in Hawaii. Yes, Mimi, Hawaii. Hawaii Pacific, University of Hawaii, Manoa, the list goes on. Think of it. Anyway, okay, Gary Becker is writing in, and he says he would like to become an actor. Do you think anything around the West, near Cali or Arizona, would be better for what I'm looking for in order to get the most of what I'm wanting? Well, Gary, darling, it really depends. I mean, obviously, if you want to go to TV or the movies, LA is the place to be, or New York. Let's not forget New York. It depends on the acting program. It depends on the faculty. It depends on their connections. It depends on what kind of acting you want to go into. Big screen, TV, documentaries, my personal favorite, Gary, think about it. So it kind of depends on the program. If I were you, I would figure out what area you're more interested in. in terms of acting. You want, oh, also, duh, do you want to be on the stage? Woo, woo. So maybe then New York because of Broadway. Hello, that would be so awesome. Wait, Gary is giving a follow-up. Film, like drama and comedy. Gary's a funny guy. So, film, that's Los Angeles. So I would probably look pretty strongly at the LA schools because they're going to be, pretty well connected in the industry. And New York, not to be forgotten. And then, it depends on it. Well, if you already said actor, so not producer. So yeah, I would start looking who's teaching there, how many of their graduates are ending up on screen, et cetera, et cetera. Just ask some specific questions and always be polite because you don't want to look like that kid. But ask some tough questions, like how many people are in the department, how many classes are in the department, what internships are available, what production companies interview on campus, et cetera, et cetera. Stuff like that. Ask some good questions. Really get in there. Yeah, that's kind of my best gut reaction to your question, Carrie. I really hope that helps, wherever you're calling from today. And then we have Renisha Pai. My parents did not go to college, and this will be my first experience of college life this fall. Yay, good for you. I'm so excited. I was first one too. I went to double major, but I'm not sure if I'm prepared for this. Renisha, I really should have double majored. Okay, first things first. You don't have to decide if you're going to double major right when you show up. So you've got time. I was the first one for my family to go to college too, so I applaud you. And I want you to remember those two things. You belong on campus, and it's going to be tougher, but you can do it. So don't be shocked when it gets a little tough. You just hang in there and you do it. Join some clubs so you feel like you belong. Those are the two keys, Renisha, okay? Double majoring, though, I really think it's just awesome because if you can be efficient in the classes you choose to take, you can graduate in the same amount of time and have 2 diplomas. And who doesn't like to get 2 things for the price of 1? So I really think it's a great idea, an absolutely great idea. You do need to make sure that you are not overloading yourself. The reality of it is it will probably take you longer than 4 years. It could take you 4.5, 5, even 6. But hey, you're going to graduate with 2 diplomas and be twice as marketable when you're interviewing for a job against me. You've got 2 degrees, I've got 1. I don't know. Think about it. It sounds pretty good. Talk to your advisor. In the first 2 years at college, you take a lot of general education requirements, unless you go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and then they flip it. But very few colleges in America flip it like that. Typically, in the first 2 years of college, you will take a lot of general requirements like English 101, Biology 100, Econ 100, you know what I'm saying, okay? Basic math, whatever. French 100, or 200 if you test out. So the first 2 years, you're taking all that general stuff. You've got time to figure out what you really want to major in. And then in your junior and senior year, you start taking all of your major classes, like you start focusing. So in my junior and senior year, there were quarters where I was taking only English literature classes because that was my major. As a point of regret, Renisha, I am like 2 classes away from a French major, and I can't get that major now. I even lived in France since then, and I'm pretty good at speaking the old French, and I can't, no one, it's like, like a Roach Motel. Once you get out, you just can't get back in. No one's going to let me go in and just take those 2 classes and have that French degree. I can't have it. So I was in a hurry to get out. I was waitressing, and I wanted a real job as a teacher. So I was in a hurry to get out, and I did not take the extra quarter and get that French degree, and I have regretted it ever since. So at least just keep the mind open about it would be my advice from regrets. And if you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer them. You want to text into the little box. And then Gary is also looking at Northern Arizona University. Yes, love it, up in Flagstaff, because I heard they had a pretty good department, and I do like directing too. Well, then that's awesome. Gary, you are well on the way to doing exactly what you need to be doing, because you just need to look in the department. Okay, everybody can listen to this. Gary has asked a question about how do I know which school would be best for my major. And your major, since Mimi has asked a clarifying question, thank you, Mimi. If you have that question, 10 others have it too. Thank you very much. So a major is the subject that you study the most in college, and that's what you get your diploma in. Your diploma is in your major. So I took a lot of general classes the first 2 years, and then the last 2 years of college, I took a lot of English classes, and I got a diploma, a degree, a bachelor's degree in my major, which was English literature. I'm an English teacher, yes, one of those. So if I double majored, then I would have graduated with 2 diplomas because I would have had a degree in English literature and French to follow up on the previous example. I'm 2 classes away from that French diploma, and I was in a hurry to get out, so I didn't double major. So when you major in something, you get a diploma in that. And Gary is asking excellent questions about how do you decide which college is good for your major. So this is important because your major becomes your diploma. So you want the college to be good in your major, if that's engineering or pre-med or acting or whatever. So the way you figure out if a college is good at your major is you look at the number of classes that they offer in your major. You look at the number of faculty, professors teaching in your major. I don't know, you can look at the percentage of students on that campus who are in that program, because if it's pretty high, then the program is probably pretty solid. Because it's attracting a lot of kids, but at the same time, if that percentage is small, then you're going to get a lot more attention because, there won't be as many kids there. So you can ask about the number of faculty, ask about the number of classes that are available, ask who comes on campus to recruit. That's another one. Who's going to come here and always ask very politely, don't point your finger at anyone because that's incredibly rude. You want to say like, oh yes, which companies do you have who come on campus to recruit? That's a great question. Okay, we've got another question from Mimi, who actually says, sorry for so many questions. That's okay, Mimi. How long do you think it will take to major in marine biology or marine science? You can do that in 4 years. Just get all good grades. Don't mess up any classes that would have to be redone in the summer. You can do that in 4 years, okay? I mean, maybe 4.5, but prob's 4, okay? Paisley is saying, do you think it would be easier to take your basic courses in community college than transfer to university for your major? I don't necessarily think it would be easier. I think it would be cheaper, but I don't necessarily think it would be easier, Paisley. College is college, and community college is pretty hard too. They're both, and that's a good question. You have asked a great question. Those are both college classes that are taught by a college professor. They are both going to be hard. CC or JC is cheaper, I'll give you that, but not easier. That's a wee bit of a myth, love. It's not easier. Yeah, it's all college. But you can do it. Remember, Paisley, we're in this session because we're first gens. That's right. Doesn't mean first generation to live in America. It means first generation to go to university. And remember the 2 most important things so you make it at university. You belong there. It's okay to feel awkward at first. Everyone does. And you can make it. It's going to be harder than high school. Don't be frightened when you have academic struggles. You're going to have academic struggles. You can make it. Karishma is asking, if you do choose to double major, do your majors have to be related? Oh no, Karishma, not at all. Great question. In fact, the weirder they are and the more disparate, fancy English word for disconnected, unlike one another, disparate, the cooler it seems to look, because you just look like, whoa, what a genius. She is interested in, like European history and molecular biology. Like people just really think that stuff's fascinating when you have 2 really wacky, unconnected majors. Because if you can connect them on the job, then hey, you're really smart. So no, Karishma, I do not think they need to be related. I think you need to be passionate about them. So study what you love and follow your heart, and it'll all work out. Oh, Renisha is back. We have about minutes, 6. Okay, I'm going to take college courses every summer. Whoa, Renisha, that is ambitious. I just hope that you don't get burnt out, but hey, if you can do it, go. This summer, I'm going to take up to 2. I'm going to Christian Brothers University to major in accounting and business administration. Well, talk with your academic advisor at Christian Brothers University and just plan out your courses for the 4 years. Most kids do take the summers off because college is harder than high school. So you don't want to burn yourself out. And it's good to recharge ye old batteries and get some money saved up from summer job in the summer. But if you want to work and go straight through, buddy, you do it. I tell you, I went straight through I ended up taking like 6 quarters in a row. So I went for a year and a half without a break. And wow, was it painful. I still remember it. It was a lot. Okay, but good luck, Renisha. That's ambitious. I can respect that. All right, Mimi. What is the difference between lower division and upper division courses? So when you first get to campus and you're taking lower division courses, that's going to be like 101, 201, 320, okay? 100s, 200s, 300s. Those are classes specifically designed for undergraduate kids, freshmen and sophomores. Upper division, some of the 400s, 500s, 6, 4, 5, and 6, that's for the juniors and seniors. They're still undergraduates, but they are the upperclassmen on campus. Okay, so those are upper division. If you go to grad school, those classes are 600 and 700 and 800 level. So like 1, 2, 3 is for freshmen and sophomore, 4, 5, 6, juniors, seniors, 700, 800, those are for grad students, okay? And they get harder. The class sizes get smaller, the material gets more challenging, the reading list goes longer. Craziness. Okay, and then the people who are running the show here says you have a little less than 5 minutes. Please take, and then it got cut off. So I'm not really sure what they're trying to tell me. Gary is asking, are biology and other classes that don't have to do with your major necessary or not, because I'm not that great at science and I don't like it much? Well, Gary, most colleges in America make you take some general stuff for the first 2 years that you're there, and this tends to make you more creative, and it does expand your thinking to push yourself out there. Like I was not a huge fan of math, but had to take some math classes and spent a lot of time in the math lab and was very proud that I got some A's. So if you go to the math lab or the writing lab or the science help lab on campus or office hours with your professors and get the extra help, you can get better grades than what you're used to getting now. Just get more help. It's all about getting the more help. But colleges do tend to make you take some things that are not related to your major. So just get the extra help. Like I said, I'm no math genius, but in college I spent a lot of time in the math lab and I got some A's in some math classes that I am so proud of to this day because I worked so hard, but I understood the math because someone was willing to go slow and sit there with me and answer questions, and it was awesome. So yeah, you do, Gary, kind of have to take some classes that you might not like. Unless, there are some special colleges in America that more let you focus. But for the most part, most colleges ask that you just take sort of a broad spectrum of classes in your first 2 years. And you guys, if anyone wants to sneak in there, you guys have been like an awesome little audience with a million and bajillion questions, which teachers love. Thank you so much. If anyone has a last minute question, please feel free to type it into Ye Old Box right now. We've got like 1 minute left, and I'm happy to answer your question. And you can check out College Mapper is my website where I work. I build it for the Boys and Girls Club, but anybody's welcome to use it. And there's a forum on there if you guys want to ask more questions in the forum. That goes right to my phone, and I answer those questions, and I'm happy to do that. And there's a lot of great resources on this site, a lot of handouts and worksheets and cool tools and things on there that you can use. So I just want to say, you guys, remember that you belong at college and you can do it. It's going to be academically more difficult than high school. Do not be surprised and do not be frightened and do not give up. Okay, just get the extra help that you need. You can make it. And the most important thing that you can do is get involved on campus so you feel like you belong and you make friends and you plug in. And once you do that, 2 or 3 things, the gym does not count as one, then you feel better and it's going to help your academic performance, because you're going to need that support system in place, since as a first gen, We don't exactly have that support system at home, and that's nobody's fault. It's you are a pioneer and you're entering a new world, and they don't know what your world is like, and they don't exactly know how to help you. So you need to help yourself, and you can do that. And don't be afraid. And remember, I'm always on the forum at College Mapper. If you want to talk to me again, I'm Susanna, guidance counselor. I live in Seattle, and for some reason it's sunny today. Hope you guys are doing great, and this has been super fun. And I think you can always watch it even on demand because College Week Live records these things like Big Brother, and then they post them on their website. All right? Well, you guys have a great Thursday, and let me know if I can answer any more questions for you. Okay? Good luck. Yay, college. Take care. Bye, guys.